Okay, in this video we're going to continue defining the shape of the splines in this cage to make sure we get our car. So we kind of define what the front was going to be doing. We need to define a couple things here at the top, and for a windshield, for the top of the car, and the back especially, because we don't really have anything much going on there. And alright, so let's go to the top viewport here. And I have again this spline that's kind of defining not only the windshield, the front and back, but also what the top it's kind of doing. So I want to again create some curves that are going to define this area, the hood, and also the windshield, the top, and the back windshield. And again, I'm going to be using my top viewport, and I'm going to be creating splines and making sure that they're snapping to the curves that I already have in place. So let's start from here, and I'm just going to snap one to here. Okay. And again, the reason why I'm not creating points in the middle is because if I do, those points have nothing to snap to, so they're going to end up at the floor or on 0. So I can very easily just kind of create my 2 points here, and then just go into my curve point, add the resolution that I need, insert that node, and then just manipulate the curve so it does what it's supposed to do. And again, I can maybe just kind of move my curves around a bit. Perspective, and why am I not seeing the curve that I created? Okay, so that's the problem that you get from snapping something to not necessarily another spline. It just kind of draws it right to 0. So again, let me just draw it again, make sure that I'm doing it right. I must have not hit the spline right. So again, I don't want to add to that one. So snap here. Okay. And you know what? Let me move this a little bit. Again, I don't want to use my snap on this. Like this. Let me just check what that's doing in the front, in the side. Okay, so we need this to go a little bit kind of under what this is, the hood area, so it's going to be somewhere over here. And alright, somewhere over here. So let's go back to object mode, and again I want to snap along this the curve here, and then again, if I'm not sure where the spline is, might as well just turn my layer here off and just make sure I'm snapping to the right place. And if I go into my perspective, now it's snapped on the right, on the 2 splines that I was trying to snap to. So I can go back into my top viewport, turn on my layer again, turn off my snap, add a curve point. That's going to allow me to add a little bit of definition here. Just gonna bring bring it in. Again, I might have to add more than one point for this to have the right shape. So I want to go ahead and insert another curve point perhaps here. Insert another knot. Alright, and maybe I want to take this point right here, maybe move it back a bit. And again, I want to make sure that perhaps it's actually snapping here. Okay, let's just see if that worked. Alright, so again, that's looking really good. Let's just keep defining that area. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and draw in the splines that I need first, and then I'm going to go in there and actually add the extra curve points to just kind of add the definition. So okay, let's just go ahead and snap. Start here and then snap to snap to here. Okay. Now again, I'm going to come back later and add the detail that I need. Enter. G to reuse that my Bezier curve tool. So I'm going to snap and point here and then one here. Enter. Move to the back. Snap one here and snap another one over here. Okay, and I also want to go here and snap one last one that's going to take care of this curvature over here. Might need to move this point back a bit, and I probably don't want to move it while I have my snap tool on. So to here, okay, and again, let's just snap this. So here. Here. Okay. Well, that should do for now. Okay. So again, I want to make sure that these lines were created in the right place. So as you can tell, that's not to the right place. So that this one, and this in the back. So now I need to go in there and add a little bit more, couple more points. And again, for this one's going to be probably 2 as well. So let's just insert those knots. Alright, and this is one that I'm probably going to have to maybe look through the front viewport as well. Just kind of move it up a bit, but that seemed to work really well actually. And again, I want to go back to my top, and again we're gonna add maybe one more curve point over here somewhere. Alright, and maybe move it to the side a bit. Okay, that should work just fine. Same thing here, insert another curve point somewhere over here in the middle, insert that knot, move that vertex, okay, and then this one, curve point, insert knot, this one's going to define this over here. So let's go into my perspective, see how that turned out. And again, these are some that I might actually have to look through my front viewport to make sure that they are correct, because from the top and the it looked right, but I still have to come back in here and make sure that it's doing the same over here, and I might need to do the same thing over here with the back. And I do not have reference for the back viewport. Again, I could very easily could just select this guy over here and perhaps, again, the reason I'm doing this is because now I'm kind of moving towards defining what the back is doing. So perhaps I can just maybe change my image plane to, rather than having a front viewport, to have a back of the car. And okay, so we have the back right here. And the way that I cut these images out is basically the same. The front and the back were pretty much matched already, so this is basically right. I mean, based on how I set this up. So now what I need to do is maybe move my my image plane a bit by using my placement extras here at the bottom. So let's see, I'm gonna have to use maybe turn this into a positive 15, put it to the front over here. Alright, and I could go to, let's see, orthographic front. That's not going to help much, is it? Okay. Maybe just go to my perspective. Well, I need, let's see. Display UI elements. Everything's showing. Okay. Just gonna be doing this to see what it does. And again, orthographic front. That didn't do much. I need my, let's see, it's not the status line. Okay, so my view cube is probably going to help me with this. Perspective, go to the right, the back, then just kind of turn it around a bit. probably, let's see if we can do the same thing from the front. Okay, so that's the solution. So now we need to start accounting for what's going on here in the back. Again, I'm sorry it took me a little bit to figure out how to set that up. So, I mean, we do have a little bit of curves that are already kind of defining that area. And we need to figure out how to maybe finish this part up, and this should conclude basically our vehicle cage right here. And for that, I kind of look at my reference, and again, just kind of have an understanding of what's important here, and just to kind of get an idea of what some of the curves that we already have are kind of doing already. Alright, so we want to maybe hide this up a little bit. And again, the nice thing about now is that, you know, we're basically seeing a 3D representation of what we got going on for the car. So again, I need to kind of get an idea of what the curvature in the back is doing, and making sure my splines are accounting for that a little bit. So, alright, we have these two lines, which we have right here, and they are kind of ending at where the light is. Okay, so we're accounting for that. But we also need another curve that happens right over here that pretty much defines what's going on here, and perhaps some curvature that's going to define what this area is going to be like, and this down here. And again, I'm going to keep this reference on the side for myself. Again, I want to keep saving, just in case my file crashes one more time. And again, let's just see if we can figure this out. Also, it seems to me like the curvature that I have on my image planes and my reference a little bit different also, as far as what's going on here. So I need to make sure to account for that as well. And again, let me just go back to my side viewport over here. Alright. So let's just go ahead and draw in a couple lines. And again, I want to turn on my viewports again, go to the side viewport, and we need to define what this is going to be, and maybe fix some of these curves so we'll add it where in this position. So this line over here is basically this curve right here, so we need something to define that. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and draw in, and I probably could do this from the top viewport actually, because it's this line over here. Alright, so let's just draw this in. And it's not showing for some reason. Okay, that's why. Here, okay, and then if I go into my side viewport, you're going to notice that the spline that we just drew is pretty much all the way down to the floor. So now we need to kind of bring it up to where it needs to go. and also we need to make sure that it's actually doing what the curves on the side is doing as well. And so let's just go ahead and move some of these points around. Here. And I'm gonna take this actually, and I'm gonna make sure that it's actually aligned to this over here. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of snap it to here. Alright. And I'm gonna go ahead and just keep defining the shape over here. This one goes, let's see, up this way. Okay, and again, now I'm gonna maybe insert a curve point here. And I want to insert that knot, and just going to move that into place, and then go into my top viewport and making sure this is correct. And again, the main reason why I ended up doing closing this is because when I start doing creating surfaces with my splines, there is really nothing I can do with something that's kind of half closed like that. So in order to create that definition, I am going to have to create some sort of patch that has that shape, and then go in there and make sure that it creates this sharp edge, but not necessarily by adding more resolution there. But again, I need to be able to create this patch of geometry first before I get to that point. So that's what this line is going to be defining. And again, another thing that I need to break up is kind of right over here as well. I think I'm going to do that in the front as well. No, just the back. And let's see if that's in my reference. Interesting, because it's not there. But again, I can just snap the curve here. Here, make sure that it goes up to here somewhere. Alright. And okay, so and now we need a curve also to just kind of define what's going on here at the end. And again, at some point I'm gonna have to go in here and maybe snap some of these curves myself. So here and here. And I don't know where he went. Weird. Okay, I probably should be doing that through an orthographic viewport. So let's go to the side. Let's hide this. Perhaps at least make sure that this is correctly snapped to this point over here. Alright, so let's just get really close here. Okay. So again, I want my next line to just kind of define what this is doing. Probably want to make sure sure this windshield is kind of snapped here as well. Let's go here. And let's see, start snapping a couple more lines here. Seems like it's flat, so I can just leave it like that. Now I need to create a curve that kind of defines this over here. And okay, let's perhaps move this back a bit. Again, you want to be careful with your snap, otherwise you're going to be kind of damaging some of the stuff that you've been doing. So let's again select my Bezier tool. I'm just going to hide that and snap here and snap here. Okay, and again that's going to create a line that goes across here, and then I'm just going to go into my side viewport and start defining that shape by adding a couple curve points. So I'm going to add 2 for now and see if that's enough. Probably going to have to look at this through my back viewport as well, and just to get an idea of what it's doing. And it's not that line. Okay, it's this one. See it through there. And that's not going to do much. Okay. Just going to use the top viewport to define that area actually. Okay. Okay, so now we got something that defines this area over here, and now we need something that defines this area over here. So again, I want to go in here and start making sure that these points are being snapped to the curves, and again that's going to be important once we start using boundary to create our surfaces. And again, I could very well again, just to kind of close this off, because that's where the headlight's supposed to start, come here, make sure the snapping, so create a line that goes from here to here. Alright, you know, and I may need or may not need that line, because I could definitely create some of this kind of curvature by doing a loft, but I could also I may need to create a boundary, and for a boundary you definitely need four different splines to be able to create it. So I could definitely just kind of start adding things like that just for reference points. And okay, the next line that we're going to create is going to be from here to here, and that's going to define again this area over here. And I forgot to fix this from the side. Interesting. Okay. Okay, much better. Alright, and again, this is something that I kind of did by trying to snap it here, and it just kind of went somewhere else. So again, let's just see if we can fix that. Just going to bring it back to where it's supposed to go. Alright, and let's just go back to the side viewport. Let's see if we can make it snap now. Alright. Again, I just want to make sure that I start correcting some of this stuff now before I get too far. Okay. So now that's defining that area, and let's again try and continue to finish off the back over there. And again, I'm not too concerned right now about creating some of this kind of headlights detail, because I can do that later on, perhaps a much easier way by converting things into polygons. But I do need to account for some of these spaces here. So definitely want to create splines that kind of define. Let's see, something with the back defines this a little bit right here, and something that defines this, and again this line over here. So let's just go ahead and create a couple more lines, and again let's just use this snapping. So again, let's start. I don't want to have another one selected. Okay, we're snapping here, here, and here. Okay, enter, and deselect that. Select here again and snap here and here. Okay, and I also want to create another line that defines this area over here. So let's snap that in. Here, here, and here. And again, let's just see what we ended up doing back there. And as you can tell right there, the last snap right over there did not work. So let's just create that one more time. Okay. Here. Here. Oh, there is no line over here. That's why it's not snapping. Okay. perhaps I should take care of that as well first. So here, 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 and here. And now that we have that, let's just finish this up here. Okay. Okay. So again, we have some geometry here that's kind of taking care of that. This that you see over here is probably supposed to be that area that's kind of recreating, that's creating the place where the license plate's supposed to go. Again, perhaps something that I don't want to kind of define right now, because I would rather just have the area that's just kind of defined in the back of it. So this is something that I can forego right now. And at this point it will be just a matter, and again, what this is going to define is the back of it, the area where the headlight's going to be, and also some of the definition that we have at the bottom here. And again, at this point it's probably just a matter of going in here and adding a couple more curve points and just kind of defining that area by adding curvature. So let's just do that real quick. So we just want to insert a couple points here. Insert those knots. Same here. Curve point here. Insert knot. Plug and insert one over here. Okay, and a couple more here. Okay. And let's just again, I want to turn off my snap on and start moving some of these points around. Here, here, and insert those knots. Okay, again, I just want to maybe create a little bit of curvature there. Same here. And again, this is one of those details that just kind of stops there, and then this is supposed to be smooth. But at this point, I'm just more concerned about making sure that I have a patch of geometry that just kind of accounting for that space. Same with this over here. So I'm trying to figure out where this line's supposed to be, and it looks like it's so. Okay, Okay, so that was again a little bit of a mistake over here, because this line, it's supposed to be kind of define what this one's doing, and everything, it's kind of all the lines that kind of meet up to here are supposed to kind of follow along with it. And again, by doing that, I'm making sure that there is a nice curve back here. So I want to again make sure I fix that before I move on to anything else. I want to make sure I do a save right now too. Some of this stuff too, which is fine. I'm just glad I caught that before I started creating geometry, and then I would have realized that it's not the right curvature back there. And then just this one. And again, just gotta be careful with, because at this point it gets really confusing, especially if you're looking at your orthographic viewports and you're starting to see, you're gonna start to blend in a couple of things that, from the front and stuff. So, again, at this point, I just corrected what the curvature back here is going to do, and I just need to make sure that the lines that I pretty much had snapped to it are actually kind of doing what they're supposed to do. So again, I'm just going to be, let's see, making sure that they're snapped along that. Oops. And I could try and correct all of this stuff, but I think it's better if I just kind of redraw it again. It's probably faster, and again, I can just kind of snap everything again. And the reason, again, because this was not positioned in the right place, I wasn't careful enough. So now I need to make sure, again, this being now in the right place, I can kind of draw in that geometry a little bit better, and it's gonna have a nicer, kind of rounder finish here at the end. So I started to notice it was a little blocky, and I couldn't understand what was going on there, but again, let's just draw in this geometry again real quick in. And this tool, I'll have anything selected, snap. So let's just draw it in real quick. So here, 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 and here. enter. Then we want to do the same thing here. So okay, and same here. Okay, so I ended up deleting the one at the bottom too. So here, stick to here and here. Alright, and then I'm going to do this last one. Snap, snap, and snap here. Okay. So again, a much nicer kind of curvature going on here. What I had there before was a little bit blocky. And then at this point, all I have to do is actually add a couple more points here and add a little bit to the curvature. But in essence, again, this is a cage that I can start working with to be able to create patches of geometry to form my car. And in the next lesson, we're going to start talking about how we go about pretty much taking this spline cage that we built with our car, with our reference, in order to create patches of geometry, again, by using lofting, and we're going to be using boundary as well. So this concludes this video.